depends depending on vitamin extractions. Because there's actually, vitamin C is a complex form. There are different vitamin Bs. It's not just one vitamin C, there's different ones. And when they extract it and they give you like that vitamin C, it's just one component of what. So in other words, a fresh vitamin C, the complex found within the orange, way more nutritious and for you than the extraction, the pill form. That's good to eat.
Yes, yeah, very true. All right, what's this?
I thought we'd go with the honey. I always promote local honeys for a lot of different reasons. Now, it's still glycemic, so you have to be careful if you're watching your blood sugar, which you should be, especially if you like McDonald's or something like that. So I always promote local honeys. It also helps to build your local immune system because your immune system's under constant assault, and it's going to be local assault, right? It's going to be pollens and stuff from wherever you live. And having local honeys will actually build up that immune system.
So even the ones that you'd get at the farmer's market, you really want to look for a beekeeper in your neighborhood because the people can travel all over the state to different farmers markets, and their honey isn't necessarily the most local as it is in your neighborhood.
Now that we said that, this doesn't come anywhere near from here. This comes from the rainforest of India.
Oh, wow.
I also promote the rainforest honey, and I like this company too, Heavenly Organics. They haven't paid me anything. You too.
No, but we could note the USDA organic seal. So there are supplements, again, like supplements and foods. Some things are not regulated by the FDA, but if you see a USDA organic seal or a GMO seal that looks like these, then those are bona fide seals, and that means that those farms and those companies are using practices and very strict, spending a lot of money on the front end to make sure that their products are in fact organic.
And they're going to be more expensive than the other stuff. But the other stuff is really weird. You guys buy honey from, I don't want to mention any store names, but some major store or something like that? Like something that sounds like an Osco or anybody?
Or a Mafeway.
Mafeway? Yeah, exactly. It's good.
Dries.
Right. So they did a study. They took random samples of, it said 100% grade A clover honey from across the U.S. And it came back 80% corn syrup.
Oh,
80%. Yeah. And they actually tracked it down. There was a couple major importers. There's one really shady one that I'm thinking of. So they're importing the honey from China. So a lot of our generic honey is actually coming from these. And if you study it, apparently, 80%. So
I'm sorry to interrupt, but things should tip you off that honey is not really honey. And one of those things is like when you find the good quality honey and you notice that it is $10 more, easy, maybe $20 more than the other things that you're getting in the store, then you need to do your research and say, well, why are these other ones so cheap? Is it just that they're mass-produced, or are they in fact mostly corn syrup? And so it's just like essential oils are the same way. I mean, you can't tell me it's $5 for a whole, one little bottle of lavender. It takes like 27 square feet of lavender to produce that one little bottle. So $5 for a bottle of lavender.
And we're not picking on China. We love China.
Love China.
I just bought a little thing of orchid oil for $30.
Wow.
Yeah, so hopefully that's a very pure oil because
the guy said it was.
So we'll see. Okay, what did you just put in there?
Well, I wanted to finish the rainforest honey bit. This is like rainforest. Like, in other words, the bees that are farming strange flowers and plants in the rainforest, probably coming up. This will probably cure diseases that we don't actually have yet, or we're not even aware of. I mean, these rainforest honeys I'm really big on, because the rainforest is, if you think about it, of course, is so dense. There's so many varieties of crazy stuff in there. So to my mind, this is rainforest honey is worth the extra bucks. But other than that, for sure, I would focus on local honeys.
Why are you even putting honey in there? I mean, apples and all that stuff is awfully sweet.
That's a very good point. No, that's a very good point. And I've been doing the smoothie bars and juice bars now for about a decade. And I find that when I first started, of course, it was all good for you stuff. But the audience was exactly split 50-50. So 50% of the audience was like, can I just have some Kool-Aid, please? Maybe a little bit of spinach. And then the other half was like, what do you put? This apple is way too sweet. Like, can we get some more chili peppers or something like that? So, but it's a good point. You don't need to add any sweetness to your smoothie. But I'll give you another analogy because it's a real common question for me. People will approach me and say, chef, I eat salad, okay, but I put blue cheese dressing on my salad. Should I even bother eating the salad? And my answer is yes. Eat the salad.
Yes.
If you have to put blue cheese, you don't need the blue cheese dressing. But if that's what you have to do to get your salad, go ahead.
Yeah.
Get the blue cheese dressing and eat your salad. And it's the same kind of philosophy. But obviously we try and use, like the most devastating sugar I'll use is this turbinado sugar, which is still on the glycemic, is still a
It's the same. Your
5
body
carbon
sees
sugar.
it. Yeah, so your body still sees this is the same as white sugar, and same with honey, and especially even agave nectar. We don't metabolize fructose, so it is the same, and there's really
the difference between the two sugars, the 6 carbon and the 5 carbon sugar. So, like if you wanted to use maple syrup, it's processed entirely differently. In the end, it will hit your body as a glucose, but it's processed differently. And to illustrate
and probably
that,
the best for glycemic index.
oh,
maple
absolutely,
syrup,
maple syrup's fantastic.
Yeah.
And coconut syrup, I think also. Yes.
You're gonna put that in there.
What's
No,
that?
He's not gonna
No, I brought it just for demonstration.
show it.
Don't panic. So these
We'll get
these
this one,
sugars.
Jenna.
I don't need a lot of sugar. I mean,
Yeah.
plain yogurt tastes sweet
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
Yeah, my wife couldn't disagree more. These sugars, they literally get absorbed into the body immediately. The minute they touch your lips, sugars. I don't want to make everybody paranoid, but that's what happened. Like these simple sugars just boom. Things like a maple sugar actually take 8 to 9 hours to digest properly. It actually goes through your entire system, and then they hit your body as a glucose. So you avoid those spikes, and it's the spikes that's really wreaking havoc on your insulatory system. So yeah, good for you if you're already sugar uninclined. With my wife, it's a constant struggle.
I had a heart attack and got to wondering what the cause was, and finally went to see a nutritionist, and she put me on a whole food diet for a few weeks and basically eliminated sugar.
Sugar.
starch, and junk
Sugar is
foods,
so
and
inflammatory.
it just totally changed my whole
Yes,
diet.
it's so inflammatory.
Since then,
Well, not only that, fresh ginger. Yeah.
I'm gonna pass this around first.
Sure. Yeah. Not only that, but they're calling these days it's very popular science. They're calling the gut the second brain, and it's true to a great extent. Like you don't have. It's just like breathing, right? You don't have to sit here and think, "Oh, take another breath," right?
Yeah.
Like you just breathe. Well, the gut is regulating all sorts of facets of your emotion. I mean, all sorts of crazy stuff. And when you eat a candy, a Brock's, for example, which I missed. I don't know if you know, but the Brock's
I know
Napoleon,
Brock's.
the coconut chocolate strawberry.
You love those?
It's one of my favorite things. They're gone.
Is it really?
Yeah, they're gone.
Why?
Yeah,
Why are they gone?
Whitman's water or something. Right?
probably people like you had something
Was
to do
it
with it.
that or?
The doctors were like,
Just
don't nobody needs that.
FD&C number, whatever that
yeah,
color was.
full of
yeah.
FD&C.
Oh.
Beetle wings. I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
We were talking about candy when you eat.
When you eat
whatever.
candy, yeah. When you any kind of candy like that, where it's just sucrose. I mean, it's just pure.
Sugar bomb.
Yeah, intense. It's not just sugar. That's not normal sugar. That's like industrial grade glucose, like insane stuff. It completely destroys your gut biome. I mean, it's a big, delicate balance that's going on in our bodies. And when you introduce not only that, but any kind of industrial grade anything. If you drink too much faucet, if you drink water with a high chlorine content, I mean, this stuff just destroys your biome. And and it's hard to recover from anything. I mean, let alone heart attacks or something like that, but even daily stresses. So good, strong gut biome. I highly recommend kimchi. Big fan of kimchi and sauerkraut. Those actually do the opposite. They super promote your gut biome.
So that's a prebiotic, the kimchi and sauerkraut and things, and kombucha. Those
Hikima,
are prebiotic.
powerful prebiotic.
Not helpful if you have SIBO
Mm.
though. So if you have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, you actually don't want prebiotics. And then there are some probiotics that have prebiotics in them, so you have to be very careful. Also, 80% of serotonin is made in your gut.
Yeah, 80%.
And so,
That's right.
so
Exactly.
that's why they always used to say like a way to a man's heart is through his stomach or whatever, because if you were fed and fed well and fed full, then you were happy.
You chemically
Yeah,
keep
and
them
so
happy.
they knew that before they really knew that. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I didn't bring any nuts today, but if you're clinically depressed, a handful and a half of raw cashews will lift you out of your clinical depression.
Well, I don't know if we can say that on YouTube,
But that
there's
wasn't my
evidence.
science.
Right,
That